thanks to the wise decision of Grand Ayatollah Sistani, the Shia, who were certainly a majority of the population, were cooperating with the occupation. And the Shia leaders we spoke to about the army were just as clear as the Kurds had been, because they remembered that it was Saddam's army, particularly the Republican Guards, who had slaughtered them by the tens of thousands in the wake of the invasion of Kuwait in 1991. And they said as well, we cannot cooperate with you if you're going to bring back Saddam Hussein's army. So there were very strong political reasons and practical reasons not to recall the army. Then the question was how to build an army. And we did build an army. We didn't do it fast enough. But the army, despite all the problems, despite all the chaos of the last couple of years, the army is still the most respected institution in Iraq. And we said when we built that army that any member of the former army up to the level of colonel can become part of the new army. And in fact, that's what happened. By the time I left, I think we had by that time 3 or 4 battalions, I don't remember. Most of the enlisted men in the new army, they were not conscripts, it was a volunteer army. All of the NCOs and the officers came from the old army. So the argument that the people from the old army, which was implied in your question, had no alternative is simply not true. They could have gone out and started a business. They could have joined the new army. There was no tinge on that. I don't dispute that some of them decided to join the insurgency. Not actually in 2003 and 2004, more likely in 2006 and 2007. But again, this was a decision that was considered, and I think it was the right decision.
ذكرت آية الله العظمى السيستاني وأنه ساعد في بعض الأمور، وكان هناك موضوع يتعلق بصياغة الدستور الجديد للعراق، وكان هناك مفاوضات صعبة تجري بين الأطراف المختلفة. تتحدث بكتابك على أنه كانت مرحلة شديدة التحدي. لم تلتقي السيستاني، لماذا لم تلتقي شخصيا، وما هو تقييمك للدور الذي لعبه خاصة في المراحل الحرجة خلال تواجدك في العراق؟
Grand Ayatollah Sistani made a decision that he would not meet with any members of the CPA or occupation. I would have been honored to have had an opportunity to meet the Grand Ayatollah, but he did not want to. Now, on the other hand, I had a very intense dialogue with him through intermediaries, various intermediaries. I calculated once that I probably had an exchange of 48 or 49 different messages back and forth, including written letters with the Grand Ayatollah Sistani during the year I was there. So that means we were communicating 3 or 4 times a month. It was a very intense dialogue. My view was that the Grand Ayatollah's vision for Iraq was very similar to the vision that the coalition had for Iraq, which was a democratic or at least representative government of some form, and that within the bounds of what he thought was the appropriate role for a Grand Ayatollah, he was generally helpful in realizing that dream. So I had great respect, and I have great respect for Grand Ayatollah Sistani, and I felt that we had a very open and free dialogue with each other that was very helpful to me.